Hi there, welcome to Focus 15 Spanish with the Spanish Grammar Guy. I'm here to help you on your Spanish grammar journey, and today I'm going to talk to you about indefinite articles. We've done already a video on definite articles in Spanish. Today, a brief video here on indefinite articles. So let's get started. So we know there's two types of articles, definite and indefinite. Definite article refers to the in English. Indefinite article is a or an in English. So the indefinite article then equates to a or an in English, and it has four different forms, with a masculine singular un, feminine singular una, masculine plural unos, and feminine plural unas. And of course, we know they have to agree in gender and number with the noun that it's attached to. Now, there are some notable differences in the way the indefinite article is different between English and Spanish, just in the same way that the definite article is also different in English and Spanish. So let's take a look at some of those differences. First of all, in Spanish, the indefinite article is not used before single countable nouns. Countable nouns. What's a countable noun? A noun that you can count. 1, 2, 3, 4 of something. So, for example, milk is not a countable noun. You can't have 1 milk, 2 milks, 3 milks. You can have some milk. So a countable noun might be a car, for example. 1 car, 2 cars. They're countable nouns. You can count them. So the indefinite article is not used before single countable nouns in many, many contexts. So let's have a look at a couple of examples to demonstrate that. You would say, for example, tengo coche, for I have a car. Or you'd say Juan es profesor, for Juan is a teacher. Or you might say es mentira, for it's a lie. So in these cases, you're leaving out the indefinite article. Also, the indefinite article, of course, can appear in the plural in Spanish. For example, you might say unos pantalones, meaning a pair of trousers in English. Okay, so there's some general differences between English and Spanish. But what if you have more than one noun in a sequence together? For example, a man and woman, you might say in English. So in this case, you'd have to use the article for both. You'd have to say un hombre y una mujer. But if the nouns refer to the same thing or person, then you can use only one article at the beginning. For example, if you describe someone as an actor and singer, then you would say un actor y cantante if you're just describing that same person as an actor and singer. So in Spanish, the indefinite article is also not used before professions. You're probably familiar with that already. For example, you'd say soy profesor. Or, for example, social status, es soltero. He or she is single. But there's some really weird quirks and exceptions in Spanish. I'll talk about a few of those, but there are so many I can't talk about them all here. But I'll show you where you can find all that information at the end. So, for example, if the same noun that might be used for a profession can also be used to describe a person's character, then yes, the indefinite article is used. So compare the following. Here's an interesting example. If you want to say someone is a butcher for a living, that's his trade, you would say es carnicero. But what if you were to describe someone as a butcher, a murderous person? Well, you wouldn't say es carnicero, because then you'd saying he's a butcher for his trade. You'd say es un carnicero. He's a butcher. Okay, so in those situations, you would use the indefinite article. What about using the verb ser with the indefinite article? When the verb ser is used, the indefinite article is often left out, but it could also be kept in. Yeah, I know. It's confusing, it's complicated, and it's never perfectly clear. So, for example, you could say, es coincidencia. It's a coincidence. But you could also say, es una coincidencia. You could say, sí, es cuestión de dinero. It's a question of money. But you could also say, es una cuestión de dinero. Okay. So perhaps the first one without the indefinite article is a bit more literary and old-fashioned. But in these cases, you can leave it in or you can take it out. But then, of course, there are some phrases that are similar to those where you can't take out the indefinite article, you have to leave it in. For example, if you want to say, it's a shame, you just have to say, es una pena. You can't say es pena. Say es una pena. Or what if you wanted to say, it's a disaster? You'd have to say es un desastre. Okay, there are lots of other exceptions, little quirks of Spanish using the indefinite article and the definite article, and you can't be expected to know them all immediately or learn them all at once, but this book is great. So take a look here if you want to know more. It's a new reference grammar of modern Spanish. Excellent book. I recommend it for anyone who wants to learn in-depth Spanish grammar. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks very much. See you next time.